Hi guys, it's Miss Grace from the library, and Eleanor and I are here today for a very special turtle talk. And today we have Emily Kreidel, who is the education director at Camp Oty'Okwa, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about turtles. Hi, Emily.
Hi, hey guys. So with me today to tell you all about turtles is my friend Tara the turtle from camp. So I'm just gonna bring her up so you can see her a little bit better. She can get a look at y'all. And then I'll tip my camera down so you can see her, but hopefully you can still hear me. So Tara here is a eastern box turtle or a woodland box turtle. And she is on the move. Maybe I'll hold her. So Tara, if you look, you guys think of anything that makes Tara a turtle. So turtles have shells. So you can see she's got a top shell and she's attached to her bottom shell. So all turtles have shells, and that's what makes Tara a turtle, one of the things. Now what makes her a box turtle is if I just gently tip her over a little bit so you can see, right here on her bottom shell, she's got a hinge, and that means when she is feeling frightened, she can go all the way in her shell and then close her hinge up like a box. So she can close herself inside like a box. So she's a box turtle. Some other things that make Tara a turtle, if you can see on her legs and her head, is she has scales. So all reptiles have scales, like snakes and lizards. And Tara does too. She's got scaly skin. She also lays eggs. So all turtles lay eggs, and that's how their babies are born. But they're a little different than bird eggs. They're not hard like the kind of chicken eggs maybe you get at the store. Their shells are soft and leathery. Now Tara is native to Ohio, which means you might be able to find her right outside in your garden or in the woods around you. She's a turtle that lives only on land. So you could sometimes find turtles like Tara, maybe taking a little soak in a puddle or maybe somewhere shallow, but mostly she likes to live in the woods under logs and leaves. She doesn't really know how to swim, but she does like to dig, and she digs a lot for things like worms. So she eats fruits and vegetables, but she also eats meat like worms. Let's see if she loves worms, so she might go for this one.
Well, I hope she eats it.
There she goes.
Worms like that.
Oh no! She's trying.
She'll get there.
What other kinds of foods does she eat?
So in the wild, she might eat berries, like blackberries or raspberries that you can sometimes find, or mushrooms, or she would eat dandelions. So like leafy vegetables and fruits. In captivity, we feed her things like zucchini and tomatoes and sweet potato. She loves sweet potato. And we also feed her blackberries, and I pick dandelion greens for her. And she'll eat beetles. She eats a lot of different stuff.
Oh, there she goes.
There she got it.
Now, how did you guys come across Tara? How did you get her?
That's a great question. So Tara, we actually received her from the Ohio Wildlife Center, which is a place that takes in native animals that maybe were sick, and they heal them. And Tara was actually, she was born in the wild, and unfortunately somebody thought she would make a good pet, even though she's a wild animal. And they didn't really know quite how to take care of her well. So she got an infection on her shell, and they ended up giving her to the Ohio Wildlife Center. And when she got all better, she wasn't able to go back out in the wild. So they called us up and they asked if we would take her so that she could teach people like you about turtles.
What is your favorite type of turtle?
That's a hard question. So most turtles I know are from Ohio, and we have 12 different kinds of turtles in Ohio. I think my favorites are probably box turtles, because I know them really well, because I get to take care of Tara. But I also like soft shell turtles, because they look very silly. Mm-hmm. Soft shell turtles like to live in the water. They also don't have these things on their shells called scutes. So if you feel your fingernails are made up of the same things that these plates on her shell are made up of. And soft shell turtles don't have that. They just have bone covered with skin.
Oh, wow.
What should we do if we find a turtle in the wild?
That's a really good question. So if you find a turtle in the wild, you should definitely take a good look at it. If it's maybe a big turtle, like a snapping turtle, don't get too close. But take a look at it, maybe take some pictures, or you can do a drawing of it. But for most turtles, it's best to leave them alone, because if they're wild, they like to stay wild. The exception is if you find a turtle in the road, because turtles aren't super fast and they camouflage really well. So sometimes when people are driving, they don't see them. So if you see a turtle in the road, what you can do with an adult, and if it's safe, is get out and pick them up. So you only want to pick them up by the shell, kind of like how I'm holding her. You never want to pull on their legs or their tail, because that can hurt them. So yeah, like a hamburger, and pick them up away from their head. That way they can't accidentally bite you. And you'll just move them across the road in the direction that they're going. So that way they're safe from cars. And that's a really big help to our turtles in Ohio.
Gotcha. So after a turtle lays their eggs and the turtles hatch, do the turtles take care of their babies, or are they just kind of go on their own?
That's a good question. I don't know of any turtles that take care of their babies after they hatch. Most turtles will make a nest, lay their eggs, and then sometimes maybe they'll kind of protect the area around to make sure the eggs hatch. But usually baby turtles are kind of on their own once they hatch out.
Where do turtles go in the winter?
That's a good question. So in the winter, turtles and all reptiles are cold-blooded, which means that the temperature inside their body changes if the temperature outside their body changes. So when it gets cold, they get cold. If it's hot, they get hot. That's why sometimes you see them warming up in the sun to warm up their bodies. But in the winter, most turtles hibernate in Ohio. So what a turtle like Tara would do, an eastern box turtle, is she would dig under a log, or she would dig under some leaves, and she would let her body get very, very cold until she was pretty much like asleep for months. And she would sleep for a long, long time. And when it starts to warm up again, then her body would warm up, and that would let her know it's time to wake up. But some turtles that live in the water, like soft shell turtles or musk turtles or snapping turtles, they burrow in the dirt at the bottom of a creek or a lake, and that's how they hibernate. And sometimes, in order to breathe while they're down there, they're actually able to breathe out of their bottom, not out of their mouth, to help them stay alive in the winter.
Oh, that's silly. So you said Tara lives mostly in the woods. Are there any other kinds of turtles that we might see in the woods if we were to take a walk?
So Tara and other eastern box turtles like her are kind of the main terrestrial turtle in Ohio, which means turtles that live on land. Most of the other turtles in Ohio live in the water. So if you were to see them in the woods, that might mean that they're near like a creek or a lake, and they crawled out to lay their eggs. But for the most part in Ohio, you're just gonna see turtles like Tara. But box turtles, they come in a lot of different colors, and she's actually pretty young. So you might see a turtle that looks like Tara, but maybe is bigger or has more yellow on their shell than she has.
what types of patterns do they have on their shells?
That's a really good question. They can have a lot of different kinds of patterns. So I'll kind of bring her shell up closer so you can see. She's got kind of stripy, spotty, crazy patterns on her shell. And box turtles like Tara can have a lot of patterns. They can be not very patterned at all, kind of like how she is on this one scoop. They can be bright yellow, and then other turtles of other species come in a lot of patterns. So some of them, there's turtles that are spotted, and turtles that are all kinds of colors. There's turtles that have a pattern we call tortoise shell that sometimes we see on glasses or other things that people have replicated the pattern. Some turtles are really kind of bland in coloring. So like snapping turtles don't have a lot of patterns on them, but their patterns for a lot of turtles help them to camouflage. So that means that they can hide from animals that might want to eat them. So it's actually pretty hard to find box turtles when you're hiking in the woods because she blends in really well with the leaves.
Are they endangered or anything in Ohio?
That's also a good question. So box turtles like Tara aren't endangered, but they are a species of concern, which means that we are a little bit worried about them because sometimes people destroy their homes. They like to live in woods, and sometimes if we cut down woods, then they have less homes. And like we talked about, they're not so good at crossing the road. That can make it harder for them. There are some turtles in Ohio that are threatened. The spotted turtle is one of them, and that's a turtle that has lost a lot of its home. But a lot of turtles in Ohio, like the snapping turtle, are doing really well, actually.
Well, I think you've answered all the questions that we had thought we were going to ask today. And I'm glad you could share Tara with us. Before we go, I have an activity for the kids to try at home. So we met Tara, and she's an eastern box turtle. And so my task for you guys this week is to draw a picture of Tara. So you can, Emily's holding her up right there, so you can get a good look at what she looks like. And if your grown-up needs to pause it, they can pause the video so you can see a little closer, and then you can draw a picture of Tara and have your grown-up maybe post it on the computer for us to see. Eleanor drew a picture earlier of Tara, and she's going to show you what that looks like, and then you guys can make one too. I'll hold it up a little closer here. So here's the picture Eleanor drew of Tara. She used lots of browns, and she just used colored pencils, but you can use whatever you have at home if you've got markers, or even if you've got paint or something and you want to try to paint Tara, you can do that. And then you can go ahead and tag us or send it to us over Facebook or Instagram, and we'll make sure that Emily and Tara get to see all the wonderful pictures you guys made of them. You have anything else, El?
No.
No? Well, thank you, Emily, for joining us today. And we'll see, maybe have you on again another time.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks.
Bye, Tara.